Hey everybody, this is Eno and welcome to the Dynamic Prepper. Well, it's time for survival boxes. The gear only box for November 2016. I'm really excited to get into this box. I love survival boxes and I am of course a big gearhead. So this one is right up my alley and I'm excited to get into this box. But before I do, if you are unfamiliar with survival boxes, go out and check them out at survivalboxes.com. You'll see that they have a couple of different survival boxes options out there for you, including the Alpha, the Bravo, and the Gear Only. The Gear Only is self-explanatory. This box contains only gear. So if you're a gearhead, this is the one to go with. It's $89.99 per month. However, if you are interested in getting sustainable food items like shelf-stable food, emergency water supplies, and heirloom seeds, and working that into your survival box that is delivered to your door every month, there are two options that you can go to. You can go to the Bravo, which is $36.99, and that contains only food, water, and seeds. That's what that box contains. And that's $36.99 a month. Or if you're the type of person that really likes the idea of the survival food, water, and seeds delivered to your door every single month, but you also want some gear, that would be the Alpha box. And that's $39.99 per month. And you get kind of the best of both worlds. You get a mixture of the food and sustainable resources along with the gear delivered in every single box, every single month to your door. And if you use the promo code Dynamic Prepper, you will get 10% off your first month subscription with any of the box levels that you choose. So the Alpha, the Bravo, or the Gear Only. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Survival Boxes Gear Only for November 2016. I'm excited. All right. And there we are. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, there's this big knife here. It's just staring me right in the face. Let's see here. Survival gear box content list. This month's for the gear only box is $154.04 value. That's a breakdown of all the items that come in this month's box along with their description and price. So that's everything. I see a lot of fishing stuff on here. So let's go ahead and get into this. First up, we have a Kershaw Buck Commander Antelope Hunter 2 plus Zip It. So we got a nice hunting knife with a gut hook. Very cool. I like it. Let's go ahead and open this up. So we got a little bit of packing grease on there. Not too bad, a little bit. So there is the Buck Commander Antelope Hunter 2 from Kershaw. Along with, sorry, I yellowed out there something fierce. Along with a nice leather sheath. Little snap there. Cool. And also, nice little gut hook. Yeah, that feels pretty good, actually. Perfect, just in time for that time of year where blaze orange and gut hooks become the thing to have. So that comes in our Alpha, or excuse me, our gear only. Let's see what we have next. The Gerber Hunting Ceramic Pocket Sharpener. Actually, I already own one of these. Bought one for myself a couple of years ago. So there it is. So you have a coarse and a fine grit sharpener. So coarse is on that end, fine on that end. So you can establish your edge on that end, fine tune it on that end. So just like that. There we go. It's nice. From Gerber. Little knife sharpener. Like I said, I've had one of these for a couple years now, and they work pretty good. I actually have a few of these laying around the house. They're nice. They're nice to just throw in, you know, readiness kits and range bags, and you know, have them in your car and glove compartment, wherever. Just to have a couple of them laying around when you need to touch up those knives. It's a really nice thing to have hanging around. Oh, I'm not reading my prices. What were our prices? So the Kershaw hunting knife was $35.99. The Antelope Buck Commander Kershaw hunting knife with gut hook. And then we have the Gerber knife sharpener, which was $4.99. So there we go. Next we have the BR survival multi-tool, compact multi-tool. This is part of the Bear Grylls collection of Gerber, which I don't mind it. It's I've gotten some stuff from the Bear Grylls collection that I really like, and I've gotten some stuff that not so hot. I will say the canteen that they do. I don't have it right here, but the canteen that they have, the Bear Grylls canteen, the diamond in the rough, boy, that is a nice canteen. One of the best canteens I've ever had. It's it really is a winner. But we're talking about this guy right now. Ooh, nice and spring loaded. I always like that. Little multi-tool. Very cool. I like little mini multi-tools. Let's see what kind of toolage do we have on this guy. Ooh, that's pretty strong spring there. Let's fold this down. So we have a little Phillips there, screwdriver. A flat blade screwdriver with a bottle opener. Looks like we have a little serrated knife there. Very cool. And then on this side we have a regular knife blade, and it's like a little smaller flat blade, and some tweezers. Some tweezers right there. And a little key ring there to hook it on your keychain, wherever you want to keep that. And an owner's manual. We don't need that. Okay, price on that is the Bear Grylls multi-tool pliers, $19.99 for those. Let's see. Next up we have a small bag. So this is called the Tactical Molly Bag. Survival, hunting, fishing kit, tactical bag. Price on this is $7.99. So my guess is we're going to get a lot of other gear in here that we can then utilize this little pouch to put it all in. That's usually the story that's going to go on. So you don't just get a random bag just because they think you, here's a really like a random bag. So my guess is we're going to get a lot of smaller gear going on in here pretty soon. And then we have a nice little tactical molly bag to put that in. So $7.99 our cost on that. And next we get into some R2F ready to fish. Fishing essentials. This is the fishing lure and jig kit from Survival Fishing Lure Kit. This is $4.99 for this kit is the price. So we got some jigs. So there we go. So we got some nice little jigs. We got some crayfish, some little grubbers. We got a couple of spins, little spinners. So yeah, nice little kit there. And of course, you can always augment this with, with live minnows, leeches, stuff like that on your jig. Or you can use these. Nice little kit there. Get you started if you don't already have your survival fishing kit put together. This will definitely get you on the right track. So there we go. We have a little bag over there that we could keep that in. Price on that again was $4.99. Next we have the Red Wolf split shot sinkers. So these are just little sinkers that you attach onto the line. Give you some weight. Get down where the fish are. And we got a bag of those. Split shot sinkers, those are going for $1.25 for that bag. So we'll put that over there with our little fishing kit we got going. Next we have the bait holder hook assortment, 100 piece from Danielson. Danielson fishing hooks, assorted fishing hook pack. This goes for $3.99. Let's take out, see if we can get one out of here. This is one of the bigger ones. In fact, in looking at this, it looks like this is the biggest one. So there it is. Nice hook. Really nice hook, actually. So that's the, like I said, that's the biggest size, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes. Sorted hooks in a nice little container to keep them in. There we go. Something else that can go into our little fishing kit there. Next, we have some bobbers, or fishing floats, as they are officially known as. So there you go. Just a good old classic bobber. Pack of 3 from South Bend. South Bend fluorescent bobbers. Those go for $2.99 for the pack of fluorescent bobbers. So something else that can go on our little fishing kit. Next we have some yo-yo reels. I like yo-yo reels. These are fun. And we've seen these on the channel before. We've gotten some of these in the past. If you're unfamiliar with them, they're pretty cool. What's the price on these? Price on this is $4.99 per. So how this exactly works is, so you would secure this or hang this from a tree branch or something that you could construct over the water, and then you have a traditional fishing right there. You can hook on your lead with your, you know, whatever bait you're going to use on that, and then this will go down hanging on a tree somewhere over the pond or the river or whatever, and this will go down and sit in the water. Okay, so we have your line, and then when you get around to here, you're going to actually trap it like that. Okay, so now it's stopped, it's engaged. So you can see all I did was just push that down in that little V-notch right there. And so there she's hanging, this part's sitting in the water, and then when something comes and tugs on it, it'll go ahead and set the hook. So it won't reel it in for you, it's not that strong. But it'll set the hook. And so then all you have to do is come by after a little while and check your line, and you hopefully will have a fish on the end of it. And so basically just automatically sets the hook for you anytime you get a bite. And so that's what these do. And we have 2 of them. The automatic fishing reel, $4.99 a pop. The nice thing is you can set those for fishing, and you can go off and do other things, and then check back on them from time to time. And then whenever they have a fish, you collect your fish, rebait it, reset it, and you can just sit there and keep that going constantly. Really, really nice system. So we have 2 of those that can go in our little fishing kit. The next thing we have is some monofilament line. This is from South Bend, 30 pound. So there you go. Looks pretty decent stuff. Very nice. So when you need to set up your fishing reels or anything else, we got some fishing line to go ahead and do that. That could also go in our little kit there. The monofilament line, 30 pound test, that's $3.99. Next here we have a hand reel, or what they call a Cuban yo-yo, or Cuban reel. I just call it a hand reel. So there it is, all set up. Whew, that's a hook and a half right there. So basically all it is, so there's our line along with our lead. We got a hook, we got a sinker, everything we need ready to go. And then the hand reel can just be let out and then of course reeled back in by hand. There are lots of places on the internet where you can get plans on how to actually make rods that will work with these in a like an emergency sort of wilderness bushcraft kind of scenario. If you have one of these hand reels, there are different types of sort of bushcraft style rods that you can make for these, and so it's a good idea if you own one of these maybe to take a look at some of those and practice with those. I've built a couple of them, they're pretty fun. And again, a nice little fishing kit, and you can go fishing without the use of a rod. So you have basically a hand reel. Cuban yo-yo is what they call those. Price on that was $8.99. Next, we have another knife. This is the Mudville Catmaster glow-in-the-dark fillet knife. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Don't think I've ever had a glow-in-the-dark knife before. Well, let's take our new knife and open up our newer knife. So there it is. The Catmaster fillet knife with Teflon coating. Very sharp. Built-in sharpening stone, so I assume. Yep. There's our sharpener right there. And glow in the dark. So you can find it when it's dark. A little belt clip there. Nice little fillet knife. In my experience, you don't need much for a fillet knife. You gutting fish and stuff like that, you don't need the world's greatest fillet knife. And what you do need is something that feels good in the hand and is sharp enough and flexible enough to do the job. And that, it definitely is. Nice flex to it. Not too rigid, not too sloppy. Feels actually pretty nice. Nice edge on it, and the fact that it has a built-in sharpener there, that's always a nice thing to have. So, pretty cool. It's a nice little fillet knife. I will put that to good use. I always have a use for a good fillet knife. Definitely. Now I can't wait to go fishing. Man, too bad it's... We either gotta stay warm or ice over here. So, but aren't we all concentrated on upland bird hunting right now? I hope we are. I know deer is right around the corner, but upland bird goes to the end of the year, and that's what I'm still doing. Salmon Basics. Oh, what was the price on that? I forgot to read the price. The Mudville glow-in-the-dark fillet knife is $10.49 with built-in sharpener. So this is Salmon Info Book, Survival Fishing Knowledge. This goes for $1.99 and is basics for salmon fishing. How to set up your rig, weigh depths and types of bait to use, how to set it all up. That's pretty neat. Much more fun. Fisherman's knots. Oh, this is nice. Oh, hello. How come this isn't in every single fishing box I've ever gotten? Look at that. I like that. If there's ever anything that's confusing about when you first start, especially if you're not into fishing yet, but you want to be, one of the first things and one of the hardest things that you kind of got to learn is all the different knots. And it is kind of a rite of passage for any fisherman. This is really nice. What is this? This is the Fishing Knot Tying Chart. $2.99 waterproof fishing knot chart. From Andy. Is that Andy? And E. That's pretty nice. I like that. It's laminated, so you can take it with you, and it's not going to get wrecked. Lures on 3-way swivel. Lark's head knot. Boy, we got also Australian braid. We got all sorts of stuff to learn to make. Yeah. And you know what? On rainy days when there's nothing to do, this is always fun stuff to do. Tying knots and stuff. Practicing your knots. What else we got? Holy jeez. Look at that. From Colt. Spear, self-preservation, evasion, and reliance. Tactical spear, arrow, jig heads. Complete set of Colt tactical heads. Look at that. Okay. More packaging material. So we have 2 spear points. And these are very, very sharp too. I have a serrated one and a straight edge. Yeah, very sharp, very pointy. Very, very pointy. And the spearhead should be. So we have a serrated and a straight edge on that one. Then we have a number of different arrowheads, a couple different types. So pretty cool. That one, got that one, we got that one, then we got that one. Sweet. Then we have some making a spear, hook spear, and we have a trident. You know, where would you be without a trident? And that's pretty sharp too. I like that. Let's see, what's the price on that? The Colt Spear Arrowheads goes for $39.99 for all of those. And that, along with some packaging material that we can save for some tinder, is everything that comes in our survival boxes, gear only box for November 2016. Let's take a really quick review. We have the Kershaw hunting knife with gut hook with a nice little leather sheath. We have, try to go back to the beginning here. We have our Gerber Bear Grylls mini multi-tool. We have our Gerber knife sharpener. Then getting into our sort of fishing kit that we have going on, which is kind of the theme that the rest of this is going to be following. We have our jig kit, our little assorted hooks. We have our 2 auto yo-yo reels. We have our bobbers. We have our lead shot weights, some monofilament fishing line. We have our Cuban hand reel or Cuban yo-yo there. We have a little tactical molly bag that we can use to make a little survival fishing kit with out of all this stuff. We have a glow-in-the-dark fillet knife with a built-in sharpener, which is nice. And we have our salmon information pamphlet here. And what else do we have? Oh yes, we have the knots, tying knots, little how-to guide there. And then we had our spear and arrow kit from Colt with our different tridents and arrowheads and spear hooks and little arrowheads here. Very cool, everything. Is that on camera? Get it up here where it's more on camera. There we go, along with a little bit of paracord. And so that's everything in the survival gear box for November 2016. Very cool. Definitely a fishing theme here. So if you're into that or really are in need of getting a survival fishing kit going, or even just want some basics to get out there and do a little bit of fishing, definitely there are a couple of really nice knives, very utilitarian in nature. And I've always found that those are sometimes some of the best knives that you can have. Just, you know, knives that you don't necessarily care if they get, a lot of really hard use and get all full of guts and blood and everything else when you're hunting or fishing, and that you can throw in your tackle box, throw in your kit, and it's just a really utilitarian workhorse. Those are, in my opinion, some of the best knives. So there you go. Everything that comes in the survival boxes, gear box for November 2016. And remember, you can head out to the website survivalboxes.com, use that promo code DynamicPrepper, get your 10% off your first month subscription box. Also check out the Alpha and Bravo box if you're interested in those. We will have more from survival boxes coming up very soon, so stay tuned. In the meantime, take it easy.